Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I am very excited to be filming this video. I cannot believe that it is the end of the year already because it feels like the year just started. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was kind of on cruise control, going through the motions of not life, but a lot of my life, and I feel like I didn't really set a lot of intention and a lot of strategy this year. And that's going to change in 2025, you guys. I am going full speed ahead with strategy, with intention, with a vision. So with that being said, I wanted to end the year and kick off the next year with everything that I would do on social media in 2025. And side note, this is everything I will be doing on social media in 2025. So if you are someone who wants to build your personal brand, become a creator, even grow like your business social media accounts or just any social media presence, then this video is definitely for you, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So to give you some context, I have primarily been focusing on building Rella for the past few years. So even though I've been a social media creator or on social media for the past 14 in 2025. Wow. It definitely has gone through ups and downs. And I think that's one thing about social media that we all just kind of need to get out of the way in the beginning, because some people think that social media is just like an upward journey. And really, it's more like this, where eventually over time it does go upwards, but not every single month or not every single year is going to be that high, and you're not always going to be on this like up and up. Getting expectations out of the way is really important. So for me, I've definitely had my peaks on social media where I've been growing a ton. I would grow like 20,000 subscribers in a month. Times like these where I'm actually been losing followers or losing subscribers. My views are not what they once were. So there's ups and there's downs, and I think that 2025 will be an up for me because I am being intentional with it. I think obviously I'm still focusing on Rella in 2025, but it's to the point where I do feel like I can balance the two a lot better than I have been in the past, and I'm really excited for it. That's a little background of kind of like why I want to sit down and even make this video, but also I do have a lot of experience in social media. I've worked with a lot of creators. I've been a creator myself. I've experienced the ups and downs of social media, and I definitely think I have a unique insight, so I'm excited to share it with you. And the reason why I do want to continue focusing on social media even after all this time is because number one, I love it. It's genuinely my first love, like creating content, storytelling, not necessarily for the followers or the fame. It's more because I genuinely just love storytelling and creating content. And number two, I see the power in social media and I've experienced it. And so that is why I'm even more like laser focused on really trying to grow it and create a strategy for this next year. I have to make sure that you genuinely like this. I think some people think I just need to get on social media because I want to be rich. It takes a lot of time to start making money on social media. So if you're just trying to do it to be rich, then it's not going to be for you. But if you genuinely have a passion for providing value, for storytelling, for creating content, whatever it is, then I definitely think you should go for it because it does bring so much opportunity and there is so much power in social media. I'm definitely that friend that if someone ever gives me like a slight indication that they might want to start on social media, I'm like, let me help. Let's get the account set up. And so that's essentially what I'm doing here with you guys. And before we get into the tips, I did want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, because one of the things that I always talk about is how much I love Squarespace because they've made my business so much easier. I think if you are a creator, if you are a business owner, everyone obviously thinks about social media, hence this video, but you might not think about a website, and that needs to change in the new year. Squarespace is the easiest way to build your online website because you don't need to know how to code, you don't need to be a designer, you don't need to know literally anything about building a website because they do it all for you, and it's incredibly customizable and has the most gorgeous templates to choose from. You can make sure that it literally looks like a graphic designer designed your website. Not only that, but now they have this thing called Design Intelligence, and it literally designs your entire website with AI, from the title to the sections that you want. And they have marketing tools that we like using. If you want to collect emails, you definitely need Squarespace because it makes it so easy to collect emails and then send email campaigns. You can see analytics from where people are coming from. So it's definitely the best way to build an online website. And if you do want 10% off, you can use my code NatalieBarbu for 10% off, or go to squarespace.com/NatalieBarbu. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. I want to start by calling out some myths that you may have heard about social media. Social media changes a ton. I feel like every single year it's changing, which is why I honestly try to do a video similar to this every year, because every year is going to look different. If I made this video last year, my strategy would be completely different than what I'm doing this following year. So there are some things that we need to tackle that just aren't true anymore with social media today. Myth number one is posting on social media is just to advertise. People want to see relatability. They want to see creativity as well. They don't want to feel like they are being sold to. What they want is someone to understand their story and their problem. They want to relate to whoever they're watching on the internet. So instead of posting on social media to advertise, what you need to do is post on social media and tell a story. Whether you are wanting to attract people to your own personal brand and your own content, whether it's vlogs, whether it's educational content, or even if you're a business and you're trying to sell something, you have to tell a story. Myth number two is that building a personal brand equals being an influencer. Now there are so many different types of people on social media. It's not just the traditional lifestyle influencer that you are used to seeing. And I say this as someone who is considered a lifestyle influencer. So I'm saying this where you do not have to be considered what I am considered. I think there's a lot of people online that make educational content, they make how-to videos, they interview people, they make documentary style content. And so it's not just the traditional influencer connotation that you might originally think. Instead, building a brand equals building trust and providing value. And I think this goes with anyone posting on social media, even the ones you might consider lifestyle influencers. There has to be value that you are providing, and there has to be trust that you are building. Whether the trust is just that you are looked at as like their bestie or the older sister they never had, or it's providing value where you're actually helping people, you're motivating people, whatever it might be, there has to be one of those two things. I think the days of posting online just to like post your life and that's literally it is boring now, and people don't want to see that. You have to be providing something to them. And it doesn't have to be educational. I feel like a lot of times when people say providing value, they think like, okay, what am I an expertise in and what am I teaching this person? You don't have to teach someone anything. You can make them laugh, you can entertain them, but you also have to think about, is this actually entertaining? Is this providing value for anyone? If you're just picking up your camera and showing your day, but no one knows who you are yet, is that providing that value that you think it might be? The next myth is that you have to post multiple times a day in order to grow. This is not true anymore, and I'm so thankful for it. I do think the past few years that has been true. You had to post multiple times a day on TikTok. People were posting videos 3 to 5 times a day and growing to millions of subscribers or followers. And while that might be the case for certain people in the past, I just don't think that that formula works anymore, and it's not sustainable anymore, because there's so much content on the internet that if your content is not hitting every single time, then the algorithm's not going to promote you. So if you're posting 5 really bad videos a day, the algorithm is going to stop promoting your videos because no one's watching the first 5 that day, so why would they promote the other ones? Instead, you have to post quality over quantity. This is not to say that you can post 1 time a month and think that you're gonna blow up, but I don't think that you need to post every single day or multiple times a day like you once had to in the past. I always like to say you have to post impactful content to grow, not just a ton of content to grow. And myth number 4 is that you have to use trends to go viral. I think that trends should supplement your original content. They shouldn't be the foundation. And I think this was with the rise of TikTok. Trends were very new, like trending sounds. We had never done that before on any other social media platform because honestly, all of the other social media platforms like YouTube, for example, would demonetize you and would, actually penalize you if you used trending audio, versus now we're seeing on TikTok, trending audio is what gets people a lot of views. So I think we had this like pendulum shift where everyone was only doing trending audios. You think back to 2020 and people were doing the Renegade and all of these different things and growing to millions of followers by doing it. Now we've kind of reached this middle point where trends are really fun and they're funny and they can definitely help you grow and they can definitely get a lot of views. But they are not going to grow your audience to what you want if all you're doing is trends. You have to make trends be an addition, not the sole thing that you are doing, like not the only content that you are posting. Add that as like, if you find a trend that's relevant, great, do it, but that should not be the foundational part of your content creation. And now this is where I want you to get to class, get a pen and paper, get a laptop, get your phone out, start taking notes because I am going to give you some homework. Everything that I'm telling you, I actually did myself, and it has helped so much, and I'm so excited going into 2025. So the first thing that you need to do, even if you are a seasoned creator, I've been doing this for almost 14 years, and I still wrote this down and did this because this is how important it is going into 2025. The first thing you want to do is define your mission. This is going to sound really silly because it's going to sound some like corporate lingo, like, oh, like our mission statement is very important, but I get it. It sounds cliche. I definitely think you need to define your mission. Why are you creating content? And I'll give you guys an example, and I'll show you guys exactly what I wrote down to maybe inspire you guys or have you get a kickstart. I mentioned that my mission is to help motivate and inspire others to follow their curiosities and show them what everyone is capable of. And that mission has changed throughout the years. I started on YouTube doing fashion and beauty. Like, that was not my mission almost 14 years ago. My mission almost 14 years ago was that I just like wanted to share my like favorite makeup tips and like be creative, and it was more of like a creative outlet, if I'm being honest. My mission today though, after building a business and after building a brand on social media, is to motivate others and inspire others to do the same thing. Next, you're gonna wanna define your 3 to 4 content pillars. I am anti-niche. I think that it works for some people, and if you do have one particular thing that you wanna talk about and only one thing you wanna talk about, go ahead, find a niche, great. But for people like myself who have a lot of different interests and don't know how to pick one, then you're gonna need to define your 3 to 4 content pillars, and every piece of content should fall into one of these buckets. So for example, my content pillars are entrepreneurship, creator economy, travel/work from home content, and living in Miami. I guess it would be travel/remote work content. And so those are my 4 content pillars, and all the content that I post needs to fall into one of those buckets so people know exactly what they're gonna get when they follow me. After that, you're gonna define your audience. Who do you want to follow you, or who is already following you? Or if you want to do a little pivot, who is your ideal audience? For example, mine is girls in their 20s or early 30s looking to start a business or pursue something new. I think that for the most part, that is who is following me. You don't necessarily need to be an entrepreneur, you don't need to be a business owner, but I do think it's people that have an interest at least in starting their own thing or doing their own thing or just going after things and having like very big dreams and motivations, and I hope that I can inspire you if you guys are following me for that. And then I want you to write down your story. This might sound cheesy. You might think I don't have a story, but every single one of us has a story. Every single one of us has something that makes us unique, whether it's where we went to school, whether it's our degree, whether it's what job we do, whether it's how we were raised, whether it's where we currently live, whether it's a skill or a talent that we have. Like, every single one of us has a story that got us to where we are today. And so I want you to write that down and share your background, your journey so far, what makes you unique. If you want to ask others how they would describe you, ask your family and friends, like maybe that could give you ideas. But every one of us has a story, and I need you to write it down. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna pick our platforms. I think that nowadays we have a million platforms and it's so overwhelming. It is literally why I built Rella, was because of how much thought goes into social media and planning and prepping social media, that like we needed to streamline it. Good news for you watching, you do not have to be on every single platform. You just need to pick 1 or 2 platforms, and that's it. That is what I want your focus to be on this year, 1 to 2 platforms. With the TikTok ban that might happen, it is very important to realize that you need to build a community, because I think even if the TikTok ban happens, those that have built a community have then transferred people over to Instagram. You know, they've transferred people over to their YouTube channel, to their podcast, whatever it might be. So this is why I wanted to make this video about like building community and building trust and providing that value, and not just like getting a lot of views on a TikTok video. And there are gonna be different focuses for each platform. So I'm gonna kind of run through all the platforms and you can kind of see if any resonate with what you wanna create. So for Instagram, I think that's a great baseline. It's a great resume. It's the easiest thing because everyone pretty much already has an Instagram. If you're watching this, I'm sure you have an Instagram account. You can visually share your story, you can build your community, you can connect with your audience. So I think Instagram is actually a great starting point for 95% of people watching this. Then there's TikTok, which TBD if it gets banned. I don't know if I would start that until after January 19th, which I think is the date that it might get banned. But anyways, TikTok is great for storytelling, authenticity, and also building your community on there, and hopefully people transfer over. YouTube is great for value-driven content and long-form content, so videos like this, where I'm actually going to split this video up into different reels, and I have different, short form videos that I'm going to make from this topic, but it's great on YouTube. I can just give you one long video and you can sit down and you can watch it all. Also think of YouTube as a search engine, so if you're doing a lot of like how-to videos or evergreen content that's going to last throughout time, then YouTube is a great place for that. LinkedIn is great for promoting your business and becoming an industry leader and creating that value-driven content, which don't sleep on LinkedIn influencers, guys. X and Threads are good for those like niche communities, and then Facebook is good for existing communities if you want to build out like your Facebook group or anything like that. But if you try to focus on all of these things, I promise you, you will burn out and then you will not become a creator in 2025. Now it's time to create the content, and I want you to remember that you're only focusing on the 1 to 2 platforms. From your story, you're going to look back at what you wrote and you're going to split your story up into different content ideas. For example, for me, if I wanted to create different stories from different videos from my story, I could start with the time when why I decided to go to school for industrial engineering, video 1. What that process was like, video 2. How I ended up getting a job in consulting, video 3. Me quitting my job and how I decided to quit my job, video 4. Moving to New York City and being on my own is video 5. Starting a tech startup, video 6. Finding my co-founders, video 7. Building this business and the things that I've learned, video 8. Obviously, you don't have to film all of these pieces of content, but I'm just showing you that your story can be broken out into a ton of different pieces of content, and that's why I wanted you to write it down. Then you can draft your content ideas for each content pillar. So go through your content pillars, and this is a brainstorm session. Draft all of your content ideas that you have for those specific sections. You don't have to create all these pieces of content, but it's to get the creative juices flowing. So I want you to go write down all the ideas for the content pillars. Now we're going to use AI because AI is your friend when it comes to content creation. I actually use this AI prompt to come up with ideas for me. So what I use is I said, you are my content strategist and you specialize in content idea creation, trends, and knowing what will do well on social media. Based on what you know about me, help me draft content ideas for Instagram Reels and YouTube. Here's a bit more of my content strategy. And then I actually copied what I said in the pre-work. So I copied my mission, my content pillars, my audience, and my story, pasted it into ChatGPT, and then I asked it to come up with those ideas. And you guys, the ideas it came up with were really, really good. I'm gonna show a few clips of them on the screen, but just a few of them for each content pillar would be like point of view, starting your first business, what I'd tell my 22-year-old self before starting a business, 3 revenue streams every content creator should have, how I land brand deals as a creator, remote work essentials I can't live without. I feel like all of these are pretty good to get the juices flowing, and it came up with a ton of different ideas, and so that's why I wanted you to write it down, because it's also going to be really helpful if you do utilize something like ChatGPT to help you come up with your ideas. And then I want you to take all the ideas that you enjoy and write a script, an outline, a shot list for any of the ones that you think that you're going to want to film. You don't have to do this all at once because it could take you a few hours, but start with at least a couple of them and then write out like the outline and the script. I'm sitting here at my laptop talking to you guys on the camera, but I have my laptop right in front of me. I have my Rella post up and I have the outline of this video on my laptop right now. And that is kind of like what I'm sharing with you. This isn't just off the dome, guys. This is like written out. This is an outline. And that way it's making me so much more productive because I'm not going to have to spend hours editing out sentences that don't make sense. And I'm also not going to have to spend so long just like thinking off the top of my head and then being like, oh, like, why didn't I say that? Having this outline is great. And now it's time to execute. So like we said, quantity over quality. So I do not want you to feel like you have to upload every single day. I want you to feel like you have to be consistent, but not daily. That means uploading 1 to 3 times a week. I think 1 to 3 times a week, especially in the beginning, is perfect for what you can handle. If you're doing long form YouTube videos, 1 time a week is going to be realistic. If you're doing short form reels, 3 times a week is realistic. So whatever you can do, whatever fits in your schedule, that's what I want you to focus on. Because we have the videos scripted and outlined and you already have all these content ideas, you're dragging them on the calendar now. So you're gonna start putting them on the calendar, seeing where they fit, like what's gonna be your schedule for the next few weeks, for the next month, whatever that looks like, and then you're going to spend time to batch film. I put my makeup on today, I wore a cute outfit, I, am sitting here in front of the camera, and today is a batch filming day for me. And I'm going to film a lot of content. And so if you see me looking the same in other videos, mind your business. But anyways, batch filming helps so much because if you don't have time to film every single day, which most of us don't, then batch filming is going to be great. But because you already did all of the pre-work, it's going to be a lot easier for you. And then you're going to schedule it out. I would try to stay at least a week of schedule all times. I need to take my own advice because sometimes that does not happen. But if you schedule it out and if you do all this pre-work and if you are on top of it, I really do think that this is going to be the best strategy for you in 2025. So this is how you're going to start on social media in 2025. And I'm very excited for you because I think that you guys are all going to grow. You're going to have a strategy. You're going to be consistent. You're going to gain an audience and build a community. And I'm really excited for what's to come in 2025 with social media content, with my personal brand. I feel like I'm really leaning into more of like the productivity motivation side of things while still letting you guys into my life at the same time. So I'm really excited about that, and I cannot wait for the next year and just to see the content that you create. So if you guys found this video helpful, then definitely leave a comment down below, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!